Alright, it's time for a little nighttime hood side scoop skinning. So, if you watch the first half of this, you see me put this piece on. I've since done a little bit of modeling on these areas, getting them a little bit closer to the final product. It's shaping up. I dollied this down to get it nice and crisp. A nice clean line on it. So now we're going to make the back piece for it. What I've done, taken another piece of metal, drew out the basic shape of the scoop on it, and then bent up the sides, and all I did was use the brake to bend it, to get the basic shape. I can always dolly it out afterwards to get rid of the defined lines, but it was just to get the general shape right, so that it's going to fit the scoop. Because I don't have a fancy rolling machine or anything, I just bent the whole thing by hand. So it's basically going to fit like that. If you can see that or not, it'll fit like that. So it took me like 5 minutes to bend that up and get it close to the right shape. Now we're going to actually fit it on and attach it and make it all work. So I've now welded my brackets and my studs on the bottom. Got all that configured. And we're ready to finalize this thing and get it done. So the first thing I have to do is figure out where my line is. Get this lined up to the original piece. I think what we'll do is I'm going to flip it back over again. Doing it upside down isn't going to work very effectively. Let go. So flip it back over this way, so I can let the excess hang off the end. It's a little bit long right now. It's hitting the table, like so. Right to the edge, to the point of wanting to fall off the edge, of course. So right about there is where we want to attach it. I figure out a different way to do this so that it doesn't want to fall off. Sometimes you just have to improvise. Put this under, like that. There, I don't have to have it off the edge maybe. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so we want to get our bends lined up as good as possible. Go to the right a little bit. You see that looks pretty close. Right there. So we're going to have to get this to tip up a little bit to meet that. Off again. Oh, pretty good right there. So I'm going to put one little tack right there, and that's going to be the start of getting this together. I might have to cut this tack off again because it's a little bit high in the front and a little low in the back, but I just put that on there to hold it in place for now, and hopefully we can work the rest of the piece on. Now I have another problem, and that's that the shape is not lining up quite the way I would like. It's overlapping too much. That's our first problem. If you're watching this video as a how-to, you might want to flip to a different video because I don't really know what I'm doing exactly here yet. I don't have a ton of experience doing this type of thing. I'm always learning. All the time. Constantly learning. And that's what life is all about, is learning stuff. Alright, so all I did was back it up a little bit. So I have a little bit of extra room. And it still doesn't fit on this side. Do I have it the right way? Yes, I do. I'm gonna have to trim the side down. That's all there is to it. There's no way around this. I'll put this down flat. Roll those up. Yeah. Okay, so it's gonna have to be trimmed. It's not gonna fit otherwise. Now I cut these pieces apart in the first place, but because I have this angle going up and then I have this angle going down slightly, it's just enough to make it want to buckle in here and not cooperate. So I'll take a cut-off wheel. I have to look at my safety glasses, so if you just bear with me. We'll get a cut-off wheel and we will zip that open. Alright, so all I did is I just cut along the edge of the new metal and the old metal to match up the surface so that they will go together now and lay flat. So I'm only going to put welds where I see it level so that I can get it all leveled out. When it's not level, I'll move it up a little bit, like that. Try to get it as level as possible. change it afterwards if I don't like it. I'm just putting a little baby tacks on it, just enough to hold it, so I can work it into place. Like the middle here is way too low, so we'll fix that in a bit. Just wherever it's flush, I want to get something on it to hold it in place, so that the piece doesn't want to move. It wants to stay where it is. I probably should be talking louder because the compressor's running. This side's looking great. This side not so much. Oh, I see, there's a piece of metal still left in there. Cutting it. We'll just cut it a little bit more. Make it happy. A little sliver left in there. There we go. Come on out. A little sliver. Enough to ruin the day. Okay, so this is going to take some force. Oh, I love those June bugs. It's summer here now. That's not a welder. There we go. That lays down pretty good. It's a little low between those two welds. We can fix that in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to cut off the center welds that I made. Put on. So I can push this back up and get it so that it's flushed out. Then it doesn't want to move because it's too tight. See if we can convince it with a little tapping. I don't want to give it a lot of tapping because I don't want to distort the metal. Just want to get it up into place. It's almost there. Pretty good there now. Now I didn't clean any of this metal, so that'll be my next step once I get this lined up. I'll get a couple tacks on this thing to hold it, and then I'll clean the metal up so it makes it much easier to weld. Like there we have another spot like that. Bump it up a little bit. I don't like the way that's fitting right there. Pull it up a little bit. Pretty tight. I think we'll take the weld off this side and start over on that. For all it takes to cut it back off again. Get some flexibility out of it like that. Now I can flex that up, put a stitch on it, and then just form it as I go. Like that. If you try to do this in a hurry, then it's not going to be the prettiest thing ever. But if you take your time and get it lined up in the first place, it's much easier to work with in the end when you're doing your filling and stuff. A little bit of weld that was stopping me from going down. It's still kind of stopping me. Being stubborn. Alright, there we go. That's what we want. Get my 2x4 back here. Alright, now we're laying down. So, I'm just going to lay it down as I go. Push down on it, get it where I want it. Put a tack on it. Push it down a little more. Feel it with my finger. Stay there. And I have to give this one a love tap. It's a little bit wonky where I put it in the brake. There we go. That's what we wanted. Wear my arm protection so I don't burn my arm. This is almost as good as a glove and a hammer all put together. Everybody should have one of these. Problem is, it's hard to make them fit on everybody. But it's a great tool. I'm sure the orthotist that makes this is going to be impressed if he sees this video and wonder why I go through them so quickly. Just got to grind this down a little more. Get a nice gap happening so I can put a stitch in it. Go. And kill the June bug while I was at it. So, this is sticking out a little bit, but I'm going to put a tack where it fits nice, which is in the corner. I should be turning this around so you can see what I'm doing. I will turn it around. I really need a cameraman. It's hard to do this and think about the camera at the same time. So I'm going to put a stitch right here where it's lined up. Realize there's another stitch right above it. But the more I can get on it, where it lines up, the stronger it will be. Then when I take a hammer like this, manipulate it, and it doesn't want to move the whole thing. I think at this point I'll put some vice grips on that. I should be able to squeeze it in there. If you can exercise patience when you're doing this, you can do a really nice job. If you're in a hurry, it's going to be sloppy and you're going to regret it, because to get a final product in the end is going to take a lot more work, a lot more filling, and it'll be a headache in the end. So the better work you do now, the better it's going to turn out. And I have no ground because I'm not touching the metal table. Just like that. Little tack welds. Easy to remove if I need to, but it holds it in place long enough to make it permanent when I want to. Put it back on there. Switch to the other side. As you see, this side's not laying down so beautiful. It's pretty tight. So flip it over. Like that. You can see it. And some touching the metal table for the welder. Just have the clamp welded to the, or clamped onto the table, so that when I want to make a weld, I don't have to clamp it onto the scoop every single time. Now, when I do that, it pretty much sucks it exactly where I want it to be. It looks really nice, except right at the end here. But it makes my top gap look nice. I'm going to put a weld where it looks good, which is right there. Now that's there permanently. Now I can take this back off, and I need to slice a little bit to accommodate the spacing again. And hopefully the compressor doesn't kick in and interrupt us. I'll do this quick. This grinder has so much power, it moves things with the air that comes out of it. As you've seen there. It actually blew the scoop. There's the compressor. Right on cue. I'd be lonely without that noise. Now I have to talk a little louder, I guess. to fit on a little bit more snugly than that. Not fitting quite as nice as I would like. Clamp it there. Let's get it at the top. One more tack on it. Why not? The closer we get it, the better. Progress is progress. And I think maybe there's a little piece of metal left in there. So I'm going to take the grinder and give it another little slice just to get any debris out of there. Hopefully we can make it so flat. Crazy when you watch the tool blow stuff around like that. It's a good tool. I'll never go back to an electric grinder again. What I really want to do is I want to get a weld on the end of it. The problem is I have a bracket on the inside that's preventing me getting the clamp on exactly where I want it. I think that will work right there. So I'll put that on there like that, weld it a little stiff on the inside, and I have no ground. Little stitch on the inside. And it's pretty good. At the very end I don't like it. It's still not quite flushed out there. I'll try smacking it. I'm not crazy about it. Maybe we can get another tack on there. When in doubt, try a different hammer. I think what's actually happening is the weld I put on the inside there is causing it not to want to go in flush. So I'm going to cut that one back out again now. We don't need you starting up again. Hopefully we don't need you again, because I don't want the compressor kicking in again. Alright. What I want to show you at the end of this video is show you the end product on the car, so you can see my vision of what I was trying to invent here, so to speak. Okay, tack on that. See how it looks. Looks good. Looks straight. It's hot. Don't want to touch it too much, but it feels good. So we're good there. So I'm going to put a couple more tacks on this now, on the bottom part. Tighten that up a bit. Like that. Right now I'm just trying to get it to stay put. And I don't want to put too much torque on this because I'm changing the frame. I can see the frame change when I squeeze this. So I don't want to squeeze it too hard. I'm not going to do that right now because it's changing the frame. I do not want to warp this panel. Or warp this scoop, I should say. I'll warp the whole scoop if I do that. So we're going to just leave that alone for now. And we'll work it later. Put a little weld on the inside here. I hope the camera's still rolling. I'd hate to have to tear all this apart again just to re-shoot it. There we go. A couple of little baby tacks just to keep it happy. So now, we've got the scoop basically fitted. It doesn't look so good on this corner. And that can probably be fixed with a couple love taps. And bend that over because it doesn't matter. It's getting cut off anyway, so it gives me a little more leverage. I'm going to cut that weld off because it's preventing that piece from going in where it wants to go. Now that I've got one on the inside at the top, it should be easy enough to cut this off and reposition it. It's like a tornado in here when this grinder's going. Stuff's blowing everywhere. It doesn't help that I have all this junk on my table. I've been busy like a mad scientist and not cleaning up. Once I get this little project done, I'll actually do a good cleaning. Reset everything so I can start fresh on the next project. Okay, so basically we have it tacked now. It's attached. It's not going anywhere. And I just have to be careful where I clamp it, and what I clamp, and what moves when I clamp it. That's the most important thing, is watching what moves. When I do this, I don't know if you can see or not, but when I squeeze this, it's moving the frame and not the metal. The metal is stronger than the frame right now because it's got a bend in it. So I'll clamp it here because that didn't move the frame. And I got stuck. So I got a little tack on there. The more I can solidify it, the better, but I don't want to compromise the shape of the scoop. That worked okay. I don't know if that one held, did it? That was changing the scoop. I don't like that. Moving the scoop, the frame rather than the metal on the outside. So we're going to leave that alone. Last thing I want to do is do all this work and then find out that I've distorted it and made it so it doesn't fit the car. That would be the worst thing. Alright, I'm going to cut these sides off on both sides, trim it down a little bit. I'm going to shut the camera off for now to keep the video a little shorter. So as you can see, my weld's got good penetration on the inside. And there's done on the outside. Now I could dress this and make it look really pretty. But as at my point, I'm going to put epoxy on it, filler on it, and get it ready for paint. So really no point making it looking any prettier as long as it's smooth and we have a surface that we can work with. So we'll go on to the next step now. Okay, here's the finished product. Well, not finished, but the metal work's done. It's fitted on the car. As you can see, it matches the body lines very nicely. I still have to push it in a little bit further, but the last time I test fitted it, it got a little bit stuck because the studs are just slightly off. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit. I still have a little bit of fine detail to do on the front of the scoop to get these little legs here shaped a little nicer, get them to fit a little bit better. But overall it's done as far as the metalwork goes. Now I'm going to get it into epoxy primer and start filling it out. So thanks for watching my video. And stay tuned because I'm going to show you this whole car as it goes together. It's going to be painted very soon. Most of the body work is already done on it. And it's going to be going to paint very soon. And then we're going to start reassembly on it. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.